James DeLacy here from Sweet Science of Fighting. We have another breakdown for you today. Ilia Topuria. We're going to run through his new training video. Now, there's only snippets and bits and pieces in here, so it's just going to be more of a glimpse at what he's doing. I don't know when he's doing it, why, any of that. So nothing against trainers, coaches, the fighter himself, anything like that. It's just my experiences and my opinions expressed through what we see here. And I don't have sound on this because it's just music and I don't want to get copyrighted regardless. But let's start with this one. There's a few different clips there and I'll go through it. So first we have sandbag bear hug carry. Love carries. So basically weighted setups with the sandbag. Love that. Some battle ropes for conditioning. Ring muscle ups. Super athlete to be able to do that. Okay, balance board. So I don't know if this is circuit based or whatever. I don't know how the session's structured or anything like that. So we're just going to basically comment on the exercise selection really, because that's all I can really do on these. But from the start, love the sandbag bear hug carries. It's probably one of my favorite carries for fighters because you have to hold the load in front. So it taxes the arms, the grip, and the upper back. All with that, you have muscle ups, and that's a very high skilled exercise. I wouldn't say you have to do muscle ups. It's not exactly a exercise you must do, but he can do it. It looks like he's in a CrossFit gym and he's good at it, so why not? The balance board stuff here. So I think I skipped through this video just to try and find the different things in there so I know, but it seems to be this is almost like a theme in a lot of his strength and conditioning sessions, is doing these kind of balance things. And typically, okay, I'm just going to say it, they don't really do anything. Balance is not something you develop by standing on unstable surfaces, or, people talk about being on Swiss balls and doing funny things, and that's going to help you balance. But when you're on solid ground, it doesn't transfer to what you're doing on solid ground. And balance comes from technical, tactical training and being good at your craft. And doing things like this isn't going to make you any better at doing those things. It's also not going to help you reduce your risk of injury in any way either. So doing those things is kind of pointless. I mean, if you want to do them for a bit of fun, sure. Then he's in the ice bath. I've talked about the ice bath before. Obviously, professional athletes have been using ice baths 4 years before they became super popular from all the health guru podcasts. So it's not like anything new. I just think you're better off using them at different times of the year, or using them strategically instead of just jumping in one all the time. So for example, this is a training camp, so his training load is probably very, very high. And in this instance, you're trying to be as fresh as possible for technical sessions, sparring, etc. So it makes sense to use the ice bath regularly in these instances. Whereas if you're out of camp and you're really focusing on the adaptations from exercise, then you probably want to skip the ice bath. Because you're essentially artificially removing the adaptive response from exercise, which is the inflammation, etc. So use it sparingly or never outside of camp when you're coming into a fight, a good place to use it. And you can actually use it quite often as well. Really good study in professional rugby. They ice bathed 4 days a week. So at the end of each training day, they would ice bath, and they saw an attenuation in the decline in counter movement jump, meaning that they didn't decline in jump height as much compared to the group that didn't ice bath, which means that performance is not hampered to the same extent as the group that didn't ice bath. So it's just something to bear in mind. Also, if you go down the description, I have a new MMA strength conditioning blueprint ebook. It's free. It'll be a link there. I think I'll put it in the comments too as well. Essentially, it covers all strength conditioning. It's like a 40-page mini ebook, and it just covers my philosophy and some of the research around, why you're doing what around strength conditioning for MMA. So definitely give that a look. All right, I think we're into another session. Bit of neck. You guys should be training neck for sure. Shadow boxing. Okay, I think there is some more stuff here. So it looks like we're into some mobility flow stuff. That's good stuff to do just to keep that range of motion. And I mean, you could also call this even somewhat of a restorative kind of training session. Like you're just getting moving and feeling good. So that's all good. And we have some more balance stuff here. Single leg RDL, contralaterally loaded. And when we talk about contralateral, contralateral means opposite hand, opposite foot. Ipsilateral will be kettlebell in the left hand, so it'll be same leg, same foot. So contralateral, typically contralateral feels better. If you're doing single leg like RDLs like this, contralateral always feels better. typically better for the glute on that side. But doing it on the Bosu ball, again, balance, that kind of balance doesn't transfer to solid ground. I don't think you get anything extra out of doing something like that, because you're essentially limiting force production because you're having to balance, and you're already on one leg, which is already a balance task. So to me, it doesn't make much sense, but that's what they've decided to do. Looks like we've got some overhead press, some banded kickback stuff, and almost like a dead bug with the Swiss ball. Let's see what else we got. I know we have one more. I think it's right here. So this looks like it's just part of their warm-up for some of their striking work. And then I think if we get into, so skier, this is a nice little ab exercise. I don't know if this is like a circuit. The way this is filmed, this one looks like a circuit. I don't know if it is or not, but we're just going to take exercise by exercise. So that was a single arm rollout, which is damn tough to do. Onto the air bike, I think it does, single arm rollout again. So if you've ever done a barbell rollout with 2 arms, tough. You're essentially training the abs or your quote unquote core at a very long muscle length, having to stretch all the way out, but you're trying to resist the ability to kind of not fold the other way, extend. Basically, it's an anti-extension thing, and then you're really crunching your abs to try to bring the bar back. Ab wheels is another option, obviously. So those are, I would class those as more advanced. They're typically not easy to do compared to other basic ab exercises. Then we got some pull-ups, some rows, some hang power cleans, some more pull-ups. This looks like a pull-off iso hold, but just walking out to make it harder each time. This is a really good medicine ball chest pass variation if you don't have a wall. You just bend over and throw it at the ground. And then looks like more hang power cleans. And then we're into our plank, long ass plank series. So overall, exercise section isn't too bad. I don't know how the session's structured though, because I kind of have like rowing, bike, and then like hang power cleans. It's like all kind of mixed together. So I'm assuming it's a circuit. And if it was a circuit, I don't know if it's not something that I would put together. Let's put it that way. Just because it kind of depends on what you're trying to get out of the session, right? If you're using exercises like hang power cleans, it looks like they're doing more explosive style push-ups in there as well. Some ab work. It's like, okay, are you trying to develop strength and power, or are you trying to develop the endurance side, or are you trying to do a blend of both, which looks like they're trying to do almost like a power endurance thing? And when you mix it all together like this, you actually get none of it, which is part of the issue is why I wouldn't do it this way. And if power endurance is a funny term, because people talk about, okay, power endurance means I need to be able to do exercises like hang power cleans for 10 plus reps and then go and do something else and go and do something else. But that's not power. It's not true power endurance or the ability to repeat high intensity efforts. To do it properly, you need to have maximal outputs for every single rep, which means you need to do less reps in this and then be able to maintain that same quality every single set. And if that quality drops, it's no longer power endurance or no longer training that ability to repeat the high intensity effort. And MMA comes down to that. That's like the number one thing for MMA. And it's in that ebook that I have down in the description too, is it's the ability to repeat high intensity efforts, and how you go about doing that is an art and science together in itself. But you need to be able to express high levels of power output, and then to repeat it means you have to express those high levels of power output in your training over and over again. So hopefully that makes sense. So when you're adding in a bunch of stuff in between, you're kind of diluting that stimulus a lot. It's not to say you shouldn't ever do it, but just typically it's not something advised to put it all together. I think that's all his strength and conditioning kind of stuff in there. Yeah. And then he has a little plank series in there. And I actually just made an Instagram reel about the plank not too long ago, about how I don't like it unless like you're a complete sedentary athlete. He's going for a long time. The plank is such a low level exercise. He's already doing rollouts, like those rollouts are basically planks on steroids. So adding this stuff on top, I mean, look, it's not doing any harm, put it that way. So there's nothing wrong with doing it. I just prefer other exercises that are going to train some of the abilities that you need for MMA. For example, the example I gave instead was a walking lunge twist or walking overhead lean. You can check that on the Sweet Sounds Funny Instagram account. And then that trains the ability to dissociate or separate the upper and lower body. And we want to be able to separate the upper and lower body in sports like MMA because the limbs are used like a whip when you're throwing strikes. And even in grappling, when you get into funny positions, when you're wrestling for mat returns, hips facing one way, body facing another, etc., you need to be able to do things with your legs facing or hips facing one way and your upper body facing another way. And same with striking, the hips turn first, then the upper body. And there are exercises you can do to help train that. Planks, yes, okay, you can say isometric contraction, you can be in those positions, sure, but how much of that prone position work carries over to when you're standing up, it's hard to say. So make sure you go down the description or the comment, there'll be a link to that ebook you can download for free. And if you have anything else you want me to break down, please let me know, because I'm always trying to find videos. Sometimes they pop up, sometimes they don't. And if you have something, or just comment down in the comments and I'll check it out and I can find those videos.